Hello and welcome to Park City Bookkeepers YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about budget basics for QuickBooks Online. Now if you have never created a budget for your business before, this is the video for you. I recommend that you open up a different browser or a different tab with your QuickBooks Online company file open and do this along with me. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is log into your QuickBooks Online account. And if you've used it before, you're going to be familiar with this page. This is your home screen. From the home screen, you're going to go to the gear icon in the upper right, then Tools and Budgeting. Now, a pop-up window will pop up, and it's really an interview process for creating a new budget. This first screen, go ahead and hit Next. Now, this is important. Do you want to start with any amounts? Now, these amounts are going to help you determine what your current budget should be. You can choose from last fiscal year or this fiscal year, or simply start from scratch. Now, we're using a sample company that doesn't have data from the last fiscal year, so I would choose from scratch. And if you're a new company, that's what you would want to do as well. However, if you've been in business for at least a year, go ahead and choose last fiscal year, and it will provide data that is relevant to last year's numbers, and you're going to be able to use those in order to give you a baseline or an indication of what your budget should be this year. Now, keep in mind when you're creating a budget, some of your expenses are not relevant to your revenue. For example, you're probably going to order just as much office supplies, pens, and paper, maybe a little bit more paper as revenue grows. But for the most part, it's going to stay consistent with the type of business that you're in. However, specific job materials or cost of goods sold, that will be tied directly to revenue. And so you'll want to take those figures as a percentage of revenue when coming up with your budget, rather than simply saying, well, my job materials were $10,000 last year per month. Let's make them $5,000 this month. I mean, we want to be aggressive, but we also want to be realistic. So go ahead and use a percentage of revenue for those types of expenses. So back to the interview here. We're going to create a budget from scratch, hit Next, and then you can subdivide by customer or don't subdivide, which we are not going to subdivide in this case. We'll go ahead and name it, and we'll just call it Craig's budget, and hit Finish. So this will take you to a screen where we actually start inputting all of the budgeting information. And it's very simple. I mean, what this will look like to you is your P&L. All your profit and loss accounts are going to be in this budget. Okay? And so if we go ahead and start from the beginning, billable expense income, rather than entering it in for every single month, we just go down to the bottom here, enter by month, and we can go ahead and say, well, last January we did 10,000. This past December we did 20,000, so I think it's going to be closer to that December number. We're really shooting for slightly more than that. We're going to say it's 23,000 in revenue. And what you want to go ahead and do is then hit Copy Across. And it's going to copy that amount for the rest of the year. Now, chances are you plan on growing throughout the year. So figure out what your projected growth rate is, and every month you can change this figure. So January, February, March, we'll say it's 23,000, but starting in April, we think we're going to grow to about 26,000 per month. And if you hit Copy Across, it's going to leave the first quarter amounts the same, and then only increase from April moving forward, which is nice. And then you can repeat this same exercise for every quarter or every month. If you want to change this to 30,000 and then hit Copy Across, it will again leave the first two quarters untouched and leave 30,000 for the rest of the year. Once you've figured that out, hit Save and Next, and you'll notice all of the amounts populated across the top with a total revenue amount of $327,000 for the year. And you can do this for all your different types of income and your cost of goods sold and your expenses. So trying to scroll down here. There we go. So same exercise here for expenses. We just choose our advertising budget. Say we want to do $500 a month. That's really not going to be dependent on the amount of business we have. We're going to leave it at $500 a month for the remainder of the year. Hit save and next and keep moving. Now, one thing you might want to do is enter these expenses on a quarterly basis. So let's go ahead and choose bank charges. We're going to say we plan on $50 a quarter for our bank charges. And we're going to copy that across the board and hit save and next. And what you'll see here is that it actually split up the amount on a monthly basis. Now, if you want to see it quarterly, you go up to the view by quarter, and there's the 50 we put. Okay, so let's go back to monthly view. We're going to enter things on a monthly basis. And we'll do one more here. Insurance, same thing. Maybe you don't pay insurance by the month. Maybe you pay an annual amount of, let's say $3,000. And we just hit save and next, and you'll see it populates $250 a month. Okay. So now that we have that figured out, we'll go ahead and scroll down here and hit finished. Okay, and your budget's done. But what good is that if you don't know how to use it with your reporting tools? So now if you go to reports, and you'll see a new report called budget versus actuals. And what this will do is actually show you what you budgeted, what your actual amount was, how much you were over or under budget, and the percentage of the budget. Okay, now we didn't enter all these different income accounts, which is why they're blank on the budget. But you can see how powerful of a tool this will be when you keep up with this on a monthly basis, comparing your actual versus budget. And of course, as the months roll on, you'll want to adjust your budget to fit what is actually going on in the previous months. So that covers budget basics. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at parkcitybookkeepers@gmail.com or visit us on our website at www.parkcitybookkeepers.com. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we wish you the best success. Thank you.